Here's our director of scouting, Craig Button. The Toronto Maple Leafs take a 2-0 series lead on Florida, and they seem to have an answer for every push that the Panthers had. Even Brad Marchand, Craig, after the game, said that this seems like a different Leafs team than he has faced in the past with the Boston Bruins. What does it say about the maturity of this Leafs group for them to get this Game 2 win?
Paul Maurice used the word maturity after Game 1. He said it's a team that has more maturity in the way they play. They give up the puck, they dump it. They're not making plays that aren't there in the hope that some play will ensue. And they're taking advantage of opportunities. 2 rush goals in this game. The second and third goals were both rush goals. But when you think about the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's understanding when you can make a play. It's understanding when there's no play to be made. But this doesn't just happen because somebody snaps their fingers and says, okay, this is what we got to do now. Craig Berube's influence on this team has been since day 1 of training camp. And you're trying to build a team to understand what it takes when it gets really hard. Mitch Marner post-game talked about the ups and the downs of the playoffs and being able to handle the downs so that you can stay even. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs have exemplified that during these first 2 games. In this game, they fall behind 1-0. They fall behind 2-1 on a goal quickly by the Bruins early in the second period. Then they take a 3-2 lead. Then Florida ties it up, and then shortly thereafter, they take the lead again. Sometimes it takes teams, Jay, a little bit of time to ramp up again. I think it speaks volumes about where the Leafs find themselves. Okay, a goal goes in. We know we're playing a good team. But at the same time, let's just keep doing what we do well and let's get after it. I thought that in both these games, the Leafs really put that on display. But this is something that's been building. This is something that Craig Berube has been instilling in this team. Even during the course of a testy second period, it was the heat was intensifying. There was friction in the game between the players. And they went to the bench, and Craig Berube was telling the guys, just stay calm, be calm. And I think that that's just permeating itself right through the group.
Sergei Bobrovsky, he's an all-world goaltender, and he was largely responsible for Florida winning the Stanley Cup last year. But is it safe to say, Craig, that Bobrovsky's been outplayed by his counterparts at the other end of the ice in the first 2 games of this series?
And listen, 9 goals against in 2 games, that's not going to win you hockey games, Jay. The Florida Panthers pride themselves on good defensive play. They know they can score goals. Sergei Bobrovsky hasn't been very good, simple as that. You think about the first shot of Game 1. You think about the Tanev goal. Now you think about the goals in this game. He wasn't sharp. And one thing about Sergei Bobrovsky is you know that he can do the spectacular. But he's not even doing just the ordinary right now. And now you start chasing a game. You're up 2-1. I thought the goal by Nylander, it's a magnificent goal by Nylander. But when you're watching Bobrovsky, you're kind of watching him. He doesn't look as sure in the net. Nylander had another chance later on. He tried to go glove high. Bobrovsky wasn't able to corral it. The puck comes in front of him. There was moments in this game where it just didn't seem that Sergei Bobrovsky was on top of it. And quite frankly, Jay, the winning goal by Mitch Marner is an awful goal for Bobrovsky to give up. Just terrible. Cost them the game. That's 2 games now. Bobrovsky has not played well enough for the Florida Panthers to win. That's why they're down 2-0.
We'll see if they can get into this series back home as the series shifts to South Florida for Game 3 on Friday night.